everybody, it's Sue and Sal, and we're here at our garden. It's June 2nd, we got our tray planted, and we are gonna go check out the garden.
So now we are going to take a look at our peas and spinach, which we had covered up to protect them from pests. And we can see that they've really pushed up the cloth here. So now it's time to take it off and check them out and let them see the light. Okay. So as you can see, our peas and our spinach are getting pretty big, and the cloth, we did have enough space so they could grow up, but we're gonna wanna maybe trellis our peas now because they're just getting really, really long and gangly. And the spinach, it looks like we can start harvesting already. We can start taking a few of the leaves off the outer side, and we'll have some salads this week. So we are gonna use tomato cages to try to trellis our peas on, just because we had a few extras laying around and they should be sturdy enough to hold our peas up.
So now that we've got most of our garden planted, I just wanted to go back to the topic of record keeping. This is a really good time to make sure that you're keeping notes about what's going on. One option is, like, if you did make a map like we did, you can just go ahead and update, including putting varieties and the date that you transplanted them or the date that you seeded them. And the other thing I'm going to mention is just once you've written the variety down, if you've got any of these little plastic things, I would just pull them out of the garden. Make sure that you write it down on your map so that you know what the varieties are, and then just get rid of this little piece of plastic that's going to get lost. If you participated in our Garden in a Tray program this year, you also got some seeds from Seed Savers Exchange and Plum Creek Seeds and from Hungry Turtle Farm. And these are all open pollinated varieties of seeds. And what that means, open pollinated, they are plants that have not been crossbred. And that means that you could potentially save seed from those plants, and their offspring would be true to type, meaning they would be like their parents. If you purchase seeds that are hybrids, those seeds are the product of a cross. And what that means is if you save the seed from those plants, they are not going to be true to type to the parent plant. If it's something you're interested in, there are a lot of resources out there. One of which is Seed to Seed, which is an excellent book about seed saving. And we will also be linking to some resources from the university. Seed saving is just one of those things that's really fun and interesting. It's also really important. So as this summer goes along, we'll talk more about how to seed save, and we'll also be discussing a lot more about the importance of seed saving.
My first introduction to seed saving was many years ago when I first started gardening, and I found that there was quite a few plants that would reseed themselves the next year. So we're sitting here by some examples of plants and flowers that you might only need to plant once, and year after year they are going to send out their seeds and they're going to regrow in approximately the same area they were growing in the previous year. So we've got some Johnny Jump Ups here, we've got some calendula, and then we've also got cilantro. And these are herbs and flowers that are just really prolific at producing seeds. And as long as you're okay with a little bit of a disorganized garden, they should be producing seeds every year, and you might never need to buy these packets again. On the topic of seed saving and seeds that you don't want to save, we've got another edible weed here to show you. And this one is also a pretty noxious or invasive weed. And we just want to make sure that you're aware of it and know that you want to be removing it. So this is garlic mustard. I harvested it last week because it was just starting to go to seed, and I really did not want it reseeding these invasive plants everywhere. So I harvested this plant. It's a biennial, and the first year it's just this kind of small little ground cover plant, and then the second year it grows really tall and puts out these flowers, and obviously they make a lot of seeds. So I wanted to make sure to harvest it in the second year and get the entire root so that it's not going to regrow or reseed next year. And this is actually an edible weed. So like its name implies, garlic mustard tastes like garlic, and you can cook it up, you can make a pesto out of it. There is a lot of different recipes out there if you want to check it out on the internet. And we'll also share a link to a weekly series done by the University of Minnesota Extension where they talk about edible wild plants. All right, thanks for joining us this week. As always, if you've got any questions, feel free to just leave them in the comments section below. And we will also throw in some resources that pertain to this week's episode. If you'd like to leave a donation to fund this programming and other programming like it, we can link to that option on the Farm Table webpage. Otherwise, you can also sign up for our monthly happy hours in the garden, where you can join us here, have a beverage, and just check out the garden and connect with others in the community. And we will see you next week.